Welcome to a journey back in time, where the shadows of the past come alive through the flicker of an ancient projector, revealing a hidden world. You're looking through the keyhole of history. In 1890, Carl Sturmer used a hidden camera to record the rawest truths of the human experience. While others posed for formal portraits, Sturmer walked the streets with a secret lens, capturing the unvarnished reality of a freezing Victorian winter season. Step onto the icy streets of the past. There are no bright city lights here, only the quiet, cold struggle of people surviving the bitter frost. Every breath is a visible cloud in this freezing air. The winter of the 19th century was a formidable foe that required constant and silent resilience. The rhythmic clip-clop of horse hooves echoes against the stone. Behind the grandeur of the era lay a harsh reality that many have long since forgotten. Through the power of modern technology, we peel back the layers of time to see the vibrant, though difficult, lives of those who walked before us. Life did not stop for the cold. The Victorian city was a machine that kept grinding, even when the mercury dropped well below the freezing point. Let us explore how they managed to stay warm, how they found light in the darkness, and how they turned clothing into a literal shield. For the wealthy, clothing was a statement of status and a fortress against the chill. Thick wool and heavy furs were the ultimate armour of choice. A soft smile hides the biting wind. Her elaborate layers were carefully designed to trap body heat, while maintaining the strict elegance of Victorian social standards. Men wore heavy wool suits, waistcoats and long overcoats. Every layer served a purpose, in creating pockets of air that acted as vital insulation against the frost. Detail was everything. A silk scarf was more than a fashion accessory. It was a barrier protecting the neck and chest from the unforgiving northern winds. But for the working class, survival was a different story. Without the luxury of fine furs, they turned to whatever materials were at their disposal. Every movement is a struggle. These men often wore multiple shirts and tattered jackets, hoping that the sheer volume of fabric would keep them alive. Multi-layering was the art of survival. In the shops, the smell of heavy wool and lanolin filled the air, promising a bit of protection from nature. From the youngest child to the oldest labourer, the rule was the same. More layers meant a better chance of seeing the spring flowers bloom. Feet were the most vulnerable. Keeping them dry was nearly impossible, and wet feet in a Victorian winter could lead to devastating illness or worse. The friction of hands rubbing together was a constant sight on every corner. It was a simple, primal instinct to maintain the warmth of the blood. Small necessities became precious treasures. A pair of thick socks could mean the difference between a day of productive work and one of pure agony. If clothing was the shield, coal was the fuel. It was the black gold of the winter, the lifeblood of every Victorian home and factory. Every lump of coal was precious. Moving it from the docks to the hearth was back-breaking work that fueled the entire city's fight for warmth. Inside the home, the hearth was the sacred centre of life. Families huddled as close as possible to the flames to share the meagre warmth. In the glow of the embers, stories were told and bonds were strengthened. The fire was the only barrier against the creeping frost outside the glass. A hot drink was a luxury that warmed the soul. The simple act of holding a warm mug provided comfort that words often failed to describe. The skyline was a forest of chimneys. The air was thick with the scent of burning anthracite, a heavy fog that defined the urban winter. Nature tried to claw its way inside. Intricate frost patterns decorated the windows, a beautiful but deadly reminder of the power held by the season. Every bit of fuel brought home was a victory. In those small, cramped rooms, heat was a commodity more valuable than gold or fine silk. Nothing was wasted. Children would scour the streets for fallen scraps of coal, knowing that even a handful could provide an hour of vital heat. When the sun went down, the battle intensified. The night was a long stretch of endurance, where only the fire kept the darkness at bay. They used every trick available, from heavy curtains to draught excluders, to keep their precious, hard-earned warmth from escaping into the hungry night air. Sturmer's camera didn't just capture the scenery, it captured the people. Like this young newsboy, standing firm against the wind to earn his living, a rare moment of connection. His shy smile tells a story of resilience, a flash of human warmth in a world of ice and stone. Labourers were the backbone of the winter city. Shoveling snow was a never-ending task, requiring immense physical strength and a spirit that wouldn't break. The law didn't sleep. Constables patrolled the frozen streets, their presence a symbol of order in a season that often felt chaotic and unpredictable. Look at the wisdom in these faces. Each wrinkle tells a tale of a winter survived, of a hardship overcome through sheer will and patience. Community was another form of warmth. Brief conversations on the street provided a social heat that was just as important as a physical fire. Even in the deepest freeze, art survived. The sound of a violin could lift the spirits of passers-by, offering a momentary escape from the cold. Sturmer's lens caught them in motion, unposed and real. These were the true spirits of the 19th century, fighting their daily battles with grace. Responsibility came early in those days. Every member of the family contributed to the household's survival, facing the elements with a quiet, steady determination. The grit and grime of the city were magnified by the ice. Every step was a calculated move in the grand game of winter endurance. But it wasn't all struggle. There were moments of pure, icy joy where the frozen landscape became a playground for the young and old alike. The Victorian era was a time of vast inequality. On one side of the street, luxury. On the other, the desperate search for shelter. For those with nothing, the winter was a deadly predator. The absence of a hearth meant a constant, terrifying gamble with their very lives. Charity was the thin thread of hope. Soup kitchens became sanctuaries, offering a hot meal and a few moments of warmth to the forgotten. A bowl of soup was more than nutrition. It was a gesture of humanity, a signal that even in the coldest times someone still cared. Moments of individual kindness shone like beacons. A piece of bread or a spare coin could alter the course of a person's entire day. Survival often depended on these small acts of mercy. In the extreme cold, the heart's capacity for compassion was tested just as much as the body. Inside the slums, people lived in close quarters. While difficult, this proximity provided a communal warmth that helped many survive the harshest nights of all. The city could be a lonely place in the dead of winter. But even in the shadows, the spirit of the people remained unquenchable and strong. A nod of recognition between strangers. They were all soldiers in the same war against the frost, bound together by the common goal of survival. Light was a symbol of hope. Whether from a church, a tavern, or a home, every glowing window promised a respite from the freezing world. Through song and togetherness, they found the strength to keep going. The Victorian winter was long, but their shared humanity was even longer and deeper. They are long gone, yet they remain. Through the lens of Carl Sturmer, we look into their eyes and see ourselves reflected in their journey. They survived the winters of the past so that we could have the future. Their resilience is our heritage, a testament to the human spirit's power. As the keyhole of time begins to close, we take with us the lessons of their endurance and the beauty of their quiet daily bravery. The Victorian winter has passed, but the strength shown by these men, women and children will live on forever in these rare, stolen moments. We honour their struggle and cherish the comfort we often take for granted. History is not just dates, it is the heartbeat of human survival. Thank you for joining us on this journey through the snows of time. May we always remember the warmth found in the coldest of seasons. Cherish the past, for it holds the keys to our strength. Until next time, keep the fire of history burning bright in your heart,